Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Point of Disorder. I feel like I haven't been on the pod in so long. It's fantastic to be back.
It's summertime.
It is summertime, and we got a lot to talk about. There was a big debate the other night that we're going to break down for you. But before we do all that, we got to tell you to follow us on all of your social medias. That's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, at Point of Disorder, and at Distill Social for all your political news needs. And I'm your host, Norris Howard, but also we got the usual suspects in the house. Gina, what's up?
Hey, Gina's here today. Hi, everybody.
Julie's
We're back.
Here.
G'day,
Hey, Julie.
it's Julie, and I'm back.
All right.
You guys get the regular crew today. It's going to be a crazy summer, so you're going to notice a few of us swapping in and out from time to time.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a good thing because we're going to bring on a bunch of different voices for you.
People that are more moral, more attractive, and younger than us, Gina.
Yes, people who are hotter and younger. It'll be great for you guys.
I mean, I thought we was doing well with divergent viewpoints, but if y'all want to take it that far, that's fine. But, we got to start today talking about the big Senate primary debate between Abdul El-Sayed and Haley Stevens. This is one of the biggest, most watched Senate campaigns in the entire country, and people are clamoring for information about these candidates and to wait to see who slips up, who says the crazy thing. Before we get down into the meat and potatoes of the debate, for you two, kind of, what was your overall assessment of the performance of each candidate?
As like a debate club nerd, I will say I have different opinions, like when I subjectively viewed the debate from different lenses. Mm-hmm. Policy-wise, there's no comparison. What Abdul is offering the people of Michigan far exceeds anything Haley Stevens is. No contest policy-wise. We want Medicare for all. We want to abolish ICE, although Haley did change her platform at one point mid-debate and said she was for that too, although I don't believe she's ever said that before. I mean, yeah, we want the good things. We want the affordability. We want to invest in America's future, and we don't want to send our money abroad. We want to put our money into building our schools back better. We want Medicare for all. We want to bring the cost of living down. People can't even pay their rent anymore. Like, just bottom line, policy-wise, Abdul won. Now, from, like, a debater perspective, man, at some point, it just got really, like, it downgraded into pettiness,
Yeah.
I felt like. And, yes, like, this is, like, a function of debate where if you're asked a question and you haven't made a point that you already want to make, you just pivot and say the thing you want to say, and you don't answer the question. And that just gets so fucking frustrating as like a viewer, right, guys?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I mean, I think there's a clear winner and a clear loser here.
I would say so. Julie, what about you?
So I thought it was quite interesting. They both clearly went in with their talking points.
Yeah.
And like you, Gina, there's no way that he could be hit on policy from my perspective. But I was interested to hear her pivot on Israel and on ICE. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. The other weird thing is she kept bringing up like really weird Republican talking points, like where are your tax returns? And like what was the other thing she said that they always ask Republicans? Oh, the deficit.
Yeah.
She started talking about the debt, like why are you blue MAGA all of a sudden?
Well, to be fair, the deficit was actually a question. So there was an actual question by the moderator about the deficit. But I thought that was kind of funny. We're going into an area that I wanted to talk about later. But I dream about the deficit.
Yeah.
As opposed to I dream of Israel. I mean, she's very busy in her sleep is all I want to say.
I wonder if she's a lucid dreamer. Like, does she pick to dream about each thing every time she says it?
She needs to
But
get
it's
better
interesting.
medication is all I I want to say.
Yeah.
But that was very much. But her other talking points, so she had obviously his tax returns is one thing that she was hitting him on, which I thought was interesting. The other thing she was hitting him on was basically attacking him from the point of view, not saying you're not a doctor, but basically said, you're a talking head, you are out there just getting the clips, you get paid to go on television, you're a basically social media. That is your...
Yeah, she was trying to paint him as a celebrity, fake celebrity doctor.
And so I want to stick on that point because for me, I don't think that's a great attack point in 2026. I think when we look at who is actually the president right now, when we look at the Zohran Mamdani effect, when we look at AOC, we look at Bernie Sanders, we look at all of our, even to a certain extent, the J.B. Pritzkers in the what's my man from California, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. They all have a slight celebrity element to them. That is how you get known nationwide. And so for me, I felt like that was a misplay from Haley Stevens because I think even the tax returns to me is a flimsy attack, but it is a more substantive attack.
The attack was you have charisma and people like you and invite you on their shows and I don't.
That's how it comes off.
But her positioning, what she was trying to say is basically, I have the bills. So I am a serious person who is already in DC writing these bills. She kept every question was basically about any issue. She was responding with, I have a bill. Yes. I have a bill. So that was clearly her play, was that I'm experienced. I'm not here. I'm not going to waste my time, TikToking or going on CNN or whatever it might be. I am here to I'm a serious politician.
And I think as the debate went on and she talked more about her legislative experience, I think that was where she had some of her best moments of the debate, where she said, these are the bills I worked on. There was a question about AI where she said, I was an author of one of these AI bills. Now, we can feel how we feel about the actual AI bill, but again, to the untrained ear, they're going to say, okay, well, she's been in Washington. She knows how to work on these things. But in 2026, being in Washington is not the win that people think it is.
No, well, she's also, last night for the first time, she said, let's abolish ICE, but let's not forget, last June she voted to praise ICE and promote local law enforcement partnering with ICE.
And actually, so funny that you say that, because LCA did respond and say exactly that. And so there was an interesting back and forth on that one as well. But I think... You're right, Norris, that it isn't the flex that it used to be. But I just want to point out the fact that, and before we stop sort of the shitting on Haley and we start shitting on Abdul, because his
debate was not perfect either.
No, it was not perfect either. I just want to point out that she has this inability or ability, whatever you'd like to call it, of not actually answering questions. And it happened on 2 questions. And it was on the AI. Basically, she just flat out did not fucking answer that one. And it just gets frustrating to me. Yeah. It's just like, come on, you can't just... If you are a serious politician, you have to be able to... You clearly, you were given the questions beforehand. You have to have prepared, or people have to have prepared a fucking answer that is in response to the question, because people aren't stupid. They can see. At one point, Abdul said you didn't answer the question. I think the response to the AI was, from her to Abdul, was something like, you didn't support Kamala Harris or something. And
and Abdul literally said, what does Kamala Harris have to do with AI right now? Like,
side note, as you can see right here, Abdul literally did support Kamala Harris the day Joe Biden dropped out of the race.
He said that. He said, I campaigned for her. Yeah. So that already doesn't ring true. But I think when we're talking about specifically Haley Stevens' performance in the debate, I actually thought she started off pretty strong, leaned on legislative experience, which, again, we said, is it a flex or is it not a flex? It is a thing you're going to be able to lean on.
That is up to the voters.
That is up to the voters.
End of the day.
Yeah.
But I think as the debate went on, you could tell that she was getting more and more frustrated, I think, with Abdul, who did at least seem to compartmentalize himself in most of the questions, where he didn't necessarily, raise his voice very often. He seemed mostly very contained, at least in my purview. And I think that may have helped him in the later stages of the debate, particularly around the questions about like China and stuff like that, which is a really weird question.
Yeah.
But I think that is where Haley kind of lost the plot and went off the rails a little bit, whereas Abdul seemed a little bit more composed, and I think that was a benefit for him.
The one thing that I did notice, and kind of I was talking to Gina about it offline, was her real pivot on Israel and Netanyahu, and I thought it was really interesting. So clearly she's gone into that debate having been told, we need to clean you up, clean up on aisle 5 because you were being hit so hard.
AIPAC called last week and wrote her a brief.
Well, yeah, but I think it's more than that. I think that they're reading the room and understanding the major, where she's being hit hardest by Abdul and previously McMorrow voters and supporters is the support, the money that's coming into the campaign from AIPAC and AIPAC aligned donors, and that's a real problem for her. So clearly that had happened. She mentioned at least 2 or 3 times that look, Netanyahu hates me. Today on CNN, he pointed out that I am his enemy, basically. And I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? I hadn't seen this clip. But here is the clip from CNN where Netanyahu actually hits her, and I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Some American Jews in Congress who support Israel and support what you just said say that a lot of the actions by you and your government are making Jews in the United States unsafe. Congresswoman Haley Stevens, she's running for Senate in Michigan, said Benjamin Netanyahu has made us less safe. He has frankly put Jews in an uncomfortable position across the country. Have you?
Well, it's made her uncomfortable because she can't stand up for the truth. She's trying to probably excuse anti-Semitism.
She's not. I just want to explain. She's somebody who supports Israel. She supports funding Israel, which is diminishing big time among Democrats and even some Republicans in the United States Congress.
So it strikes me as very convenient that that Netanyahu is on CNN this very same day that we have a major debate in a major, like one of the most important states in terms of the Senate race, because now we've got Plattner's left the room or whatever the fuck's happening in Maine. I found this really interesting. Thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was a very interesting. I thought it was a very interesting moment myself because, number one, we know of Haley's associations with AIPAC. That is a known element in this race. However, I think it's disingenuous to assume, and I hate to put it this way, but we got to just put it this way. I think it's disingenuous to assume that Netanyahu would have the same ire for Haley Stevens that he would have for somebody like Abdul El-Sayed. I think that is quite silly to assume that he would have the same level of disregard for both of them, particularly when a very well-known entity and arm of his nation has given her money.
Yeah.
So I think it is trying to play the American voter for fools. And I think it is incredibly disrespectful to the American voter. And the problem is that I know that too many American voters are low information enough to where it will work on some of them.
Yeah, I just thought it was cynical.
Yeah,
like I felt like
it's incredibly cynical.
Yeah,
yeah. Which, by the way, it was hilarious because Dana Bash in the same is just like,
why is CNN allowing Netanyahu to come on their show in the first place?
I mean, that's Gina.
That's for another podcast.
Well,
Gina.
I mean, we can talk. Yeah, next week we'll tell you about how CNN is the new Fox and Fox is the new Newsmax. Tune in next time.
But I think that was interesting. Hey, can we talk about Abdul for a minute? Because I don't think he did not have a perfect
Yeah, he had a
debate.
couple missteps in my opinion.
Going back to what you said earlier, I felt that there was kind of an aggressive undertone of the entire debate that made me feel uncomfortable in some way.
This is where I'm going back to Debate Club, where like you still need to be cognizant of how the people who are watching and listening to you are emotionally going to react to what you're saying. And the aggression towards each other is off-putting. Like, it just felt when we were watching them, like, just bicker with each other, it just, nobody was winning.
I would say for me, there was a moment where Haley brought up his Abdul's father-in-law running one of his PACs or something like that.
She brought that up several times.
And she brought it up several times. And it was at one point where he kind of flippantly just went like, it's not my father-in-law. It just felt very like, ugh, like why would we even talk about this? And I, on the surface, agree. Why are we talking about that? However, it's a debate. And almost everything is fair game at that point. So I think for me, it just felt like there were moments where he felt like the conversation or her retorts were beneath him. And I think that element of what was happening during that debate began to be a little visible. But I think on the policy conversations, again, I agree with you guys. I think when it came down to what do you want to do, Haley's response was, I've had the bills, and his response was, here's the steps of the plan.
Like my whole thing is like we keep hearing Haley and and establishment people talk about how we have to go slow and do incremental change, and we've been told that for decades, and people are like, we're done waiting for incremental change to take place. It's just we're past it. And like when you talk to Haley Stevens and find out what her healthcare policies are, it's what we have right now already. Like ACA tax credits, great.
Right.
Like that clearly is not helping people. We are at a point in time in America where more people are uninsured than have insurance.
Exactly.
And I think
It's a crisis.
That should have been a conversation that was had. That disappointed me that wasn't included in terms of the debate, because I think at this point, I mean, everyone's seeing the numbers coming through where there are more and more people aren't able to afford healthcare. Like these numbers are coming out left, right, and centre with what's happened with the ACA and tax credits, and that should have been a fucking question. There was a lot of questions in there that I was getting frustrated with, and
I thought that both candidates did well at actually making a statement. I don't want to say answering the question, but making a statement, stopping and moving on, making a rebuttal, stopping and moving on. But the initial questions themselves from the moderation team, I was very disappointed in. They did not get to the heart of a lot of issues that I think we had, particularly the last question that was about essentially China entering the market, which I think was just a goofy question to you wanted to ask about Michigan's manufacturing base, and you could have just said that.
Yeah.
But instead, you made it about China in a weird way, and now Haley Stevens is screaming about communism.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, what are we doing?
Giving our money to communists.
I have like a huge problem with like the Chinese EV like thing about them coming into the market. I have no problem with Chinese EVs. The issue is the surveillance technology they're putting in it, but we're putting them in American cars too. So you're either going to ban the surveillance technology in the United States as a whole, or what we're just going to ban.
We're never going to do that. So.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just so nonsensical.
Yeah.
Like, we'll only let certain people surveil you and not others.
No.
I'm not comfortable with anyone surveilling me ever at any point in time.
And I feel like, so I think what we need to talk about now is going back to the aggression that I felt, and I think we all felt during the actual debate. I think we need to talk about what this means in terms of in 1 month time when we are in a position where the votes have already been cast and we have a winner.
I have a real concern about this, okay? If Haley Stevens is on the top of the ballot, there are a lot of people who are talking about them not coming out to vote. Mm-hmm. And if we want to talk about electability, we need to talk about this, okay? Stevens on the top of the ticket will suppress the youth vote, not intentionally, but this is what's going to happen. They won't see a candidate worth coming out voting for, and then down ballot races will suffer. So it's a real concern of mine.
Yeah, and I mean, we've heard that from, like Stella, who we've had on the show, who's head of college Democrats at U of M, and many other youth representatives in the state of Michigan. Is Abdul is their guy, and they feel like they're going to come out and support him. But I'm not so sure that they'll do the same for Haley. That marks a very, very big problem for all of the ballot initiatives that potentially will be up for a vote in November.
The money out of politics. We need we need these voters.
Yeah, we do.
We can't just say, the last really strong poll that came out before Mallory McMorrow left the race showed Mallory had 0% of the vote share under 45. Haley Stevens had 3% of the voter share for people under 45. That means 97% of people under 45 in that last poll are voting for Abdul El-Sayed.
There's no path. There's no path.
It's just going to cause voter suppression down the ballot, and we're going to have a problem passing MMOP.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk a little deeper on this because I think it's a really important issue. And although Israel doesn't keep me up at night, nor does our deficit, this does.
Yeah, for real.
Because what we're seeing online right now, and this is particularly since Mallory has dropped out of the race this past weekend, is the visceral attacks.
Oh, this goes further back than Mallory dropping.
It does, but
yeah,
it's
getting worse.
It's getting worse significantly.
It's getting worse, Gina. I know it's been bad along, but it's always bad, right? Primaries are set up for shitty, they're combative.
Yeah, and the fact
terrible,
that ours is
fucked
so
up
late
infighting
just exacerbates
Correct.
the situation.
So I do feel, I am concerned, no matter who wins, whether it be Abdul or Haley, the visceral attacks that are happening online to people that normally would be standing together. Like I'm seeing it for people that have gone from Mallory and have now openly saying I'm going to vote for Abdul. I'm seeing attacks of very elderly Jewish ladies that are being attacked by other people that are in their community
purely because they said they are supporting
they're
Abdul.
voting for Abdul.
That's
and I'm
wild.
sure it's probably happening the other way. I haven't seen a lot of that, but I'm sure it is. So it does concern me that we are going to end up with a very suppressed vote, which, as you both have said, that's going to impact down ballot, and that ultimately we will all be the losers if this happens.
It's a real concern.
One thing that Haley was hitting Abdul on was that he's being paid or he's being propped up by the Republican Party. Did you notice that? She said that several times.
That.
So that was interesting. I don't know enough about that, but yeah, that was an interesting take.
I think for me personally, I'm a person that votes in every election period. I don't miss any election. And it's because of stuff like ballot initiatives.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm not going to tell anybody else what to do because you're an American and you're an adult. You can do what you want. However, I'm the type of person that refuses to let the okie doke hit me. Okay? We know that the scale is being tipped one way by the algorithms and by the billionaires and by the people who have vested interests in certain candidates winning. And I refuse to let that be a part of my thought process. So I think it's important for, particularly if you're a young voter and this is maybe your first contentious midterm that you are witnessing, to just always recognize that there is more at stake than just the Senate seat or just your House district seat or whatever.
We have the governorship this year.
This
is the most important. These midterms.
Everything.
It's everything. So
huge.
So obviously
The
I'm
Senate,
not
the state Senate, the state House.
Yeah.
AG, literally everything.
So I don't want to say again, vote blue no matter who. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying understand that there's more at stake.
And I'm saying take the fucking temperature down.
Yep.
Remember that at some point.
Stop hate criming the people that you were marching with a few months ago.
That's right.
That's
exactly.
that's such a poignant point. What the hell? You were literally going to No Kings rallies with these same old Jewish ladies, and now all of a sudden you're screaming at them in the parking lot of Walmart. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Anyway,
Exactly.
But I want us to change gears just a little bit because the landscape of the Senate is going to change regardless of anything. And one of the big ways that it could change
Wait, Norris, I got to tell you something.
Okay.
I was on the phone with Mitch McConnell for 20 minutes earlier
Oh,
today.
what y'all talking about?
That was going to be mine. I was going to say I don't want to brag, but Mitch called me.
Oh, Julie,
man.
how was your chat with Mitch? What did he have to say?
He said to say g'day.
Listen, all right, I'm not one to make fun of death because it's the one thing you can't come back from. However, what is the poly market odds on this man still being alive?
Just fucking go, Mitch. Just fucking go. But I want to tell you what else he told me on,
What did he
on
tell
our
you?
phone call.
Yeah.
Because it was, this is a banger, okay? Mitch McConnell knows where Jimmy Hoff is buried, and he told me.
I thought he was under the Andiamos.
That's exactly where he
on
is.
Telegraph.
Look, that's what we tweeted, Norris.
And I had not seen that tweet until right now. But listen, Mitch McConnell has not been seen for a month. Okay?
And his wife got on a plane and fucked the hell off, so she can't unplug him.
So she can't unplug him. Allegedly, he was found unconscious at his home.
No, they had to resuscitate him.
But that's what I'm saying.
He
Like
was dead.
He was gone.
They had to pump him back to
Yeah,
life.
he was found unresponsive. That's the
Yes,
medical term. He was
unresponsive.
found unresponsive in his home on June 12th. Okay, y'all. This past the holiday.
Andy Bashir put a statement out this morning asking for proof of life, basically.
You know how bad it is when the governor of your state has to go, yo, is Brody alive?
First of all, it is 2026. Is there no investigative journalist that can, show up to the hospital and just be
This
like...
is my question.
No, Jeff Bezos bought them all. He owns the Washington Post. Ain't
Also,
nobody out there.
we don't want to have any HIPAA violations, but
Right.
he's a sitting senator who's likely brain dead. We should know about it.
That's
There
very
is-
important.
And okay, my big thing now. I have a child who's a libertarian, and they are really fucking excited for Thomas Massey to run for Mitch McConnell's.
Well, that's the
Senate
thing. Well, that's the
seat.
point, right? Let's just remind everybody of the procedure. The procedure is he has to stay alive until August the 3rd to avoid Thomas Massey running as an independent.
Yes.
That's basically the issue, right?
Yep.
So if he lives if they keep him out of sight.
Clinically alive.
He's going to need to get some sort of pneumonia situation. The tube is going to have to get bacteria.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Because
Because the wild part is I feel like the GOP knew this was on the radar anyway because in Kentucky they passed a law to where the governor
in 2024
the governor can't appoint
Correct.
the senator if the senator were to step
That's
down
right.
or be incapacitated
So
or die.
the only hope we have is that before August 3rd, obviously we find out that has
Outta here.
deceased, and Thomas Massey will then likely run as an independent, and that's what's going to happen. Because we know that in Kentucky, they're not going to vote for a fucking Democrat. We know
Yeah.
Did
that.
you
And then
see
Massey would be
Thomas
the
Massey's
senator.
tweet yesterday? It was really funny. He tweeted that he had been on the phone with Mitch McConnell for 20 minutes, and they had agreed to stop funding the war in Iran and release
the
these
Epstein
files. Yes.
I want to close this conversation off by saying this guy has been the fucking king of procedural delay, and now his exit is basically based on that.
His exit is a procedural delay.
So
That's crazy.
poetic. It's
but
so poetic.
I wanna end very quickly talking about sport.
Sport ball.
Sport ball, and I have to be very quick about this because y'all, Trump really does ruin everything.
Everything he touches.
Everything. So again, I know a lot of people and listeners out there were very excited about everything happening with the World Cup. Team USA is flying high, scoring goals like never before, and somehow Trump found a way to insert himself where he was unwanted, which seems to be a MO for him, and ruined our chances to do anything in the World Cup. America loses 4-1 to Belgium. The Belgians start doing the Trump dance after they score goals. It was a complete and utter embarrassment, and it was all because Trump called FIFA and said, make sure one of our players plays.
And I think we need to end on this, Norris. You and I have spoken about this a lot. We wrote a Substack about how the joy that the World Cup was bringing, how the rest of the world was absolutely loving and adoring, and there was a connection that the whole world hasn't had for a very long time. It was like a palate cleanser for all the shit that's happening. And all of a sudden, let me tell you, on behalf of the rest of the world, we are now back to
We're back to square one.
We're back to square one. Everyone is so fucking pissed. And the only joy we all have now is that Belgium beat the United States.
And that was the sad part, is because, again,
all of the countries are now out.
Yep. Yep, they're all out. They're all out, and it's terrible because we actually had
Canada,
a halfway
Mexico,
decent.
USA, all those countries are gone.
They're all gone, and the sad part is that we know. All right, there's a pattern here, right? Trump decided to go to the Knicks game, and the one Knicks game where couldn't nobody bring their special lucky handbags, and all the players were like, "Why is this asshole here?" And guess what? They lose that game. Okay. That was a series, so they were lucky. They could come back and win the rest of the games and win the championship. This was knockout match, so there was one and done, and now America is out, and I placed the blame squarely on Donald Trump.
And you could tell watching that game, Norris. You're an expert in soccer, football. I am not an expert, but I know a bit about sport. You could see that when that team went onto the ground, they were as flat as anything.
Oh, they were demoralized, and they were demoralized because they felt that our win is now tainted.
Yeah.
Whatever efforts we give for the rest of this tournament will be tainted. Whereas Belgium was like, we got to super beat their ass now. Because now it's not just us versus the U.S. Now it is us versus corruption.
Correct.
It's us versus FIFA, who everyone hates. So it was a terrible look. I mean, the whole America 250 has been tainted by this guy. This was supposed to be a celebration of America, of all the achievements that we've made over the course of our country's lifetime. And then we put out a fucking butter cow in the middle of DC, in the middle of the summer. We had a state fair that nobody went to. There were no animals. There was no rides. There was nothing. I think crap.
Kid Rock was there.
That actively deters me from ever going anywhere.
Oh, and like people were getting so overheated they had to go to the baptism pool to cool off.
Exactly. Like, think about
Baptism pool. I'm sorry. That was the end for me. I'm like, what the fuck are we even doing here?
It was a janky-ass 250 celebration from
terrible.
a janky-ass administration.
And I had a conversation with my parents who were alive for the 200 celebration in the 70s.
Yeah.
And they were like, the whole country stopped. Everybody was hanging out, doing stuff. There were celebrations at every city and every town across the whole country. We had the biggest party ever. Fireworks everywhere. It was phenomenal.
It really was like a national unity thing. You can see the old footage.
Yeah.
The country all celebrated together.
And then in this one, these yahoos couldn't even do a fireworks display, right? Because all they did was say, let's just shoot off the most fireworks ever. And now people having asthma attacks and all kind of glaucoma flaring up because of all the smoke. I hate it.
But the most important thing is Trump made a shit ton of money out of it.
Sure
and
did.
There we are. That will be
so here
America
we go.
250.
America 250. Well,
that's exactly where we are at America 250.
Well, I do want to share that we do have something very special for all of our listeners and subscribers out there, is we will be giving out our first official Distill Social Point of Disorder poll that will now be out. So we are sourcing information and responses from all of you, the listeners, on what is important to you in the election.
Tell everybody where, we know you've got opinions, guys. We want it. Norris, tell everyone where they can fill out our poll.
Yeah, so if you subscribe to our fantastic Substack, you will be receiving it directly to your inbox, and you'll be able to fill it out there. But if not, you'll be able to find a link in the show notes of this very episode. The poll will be open for a few days, so
we're going to post it on Facebook too.
Yeah, we're going to post it on Facebook
and Instagram stories.
Yep, all the good stuff, all the places where you normally find our stuff.
But we want to know what you guys care about the most, because we want to see where the disconnect is. Who actually cares about what, and which candidates are talking to which voters.
Yep.
Bottom line.
Bottom line. So please take, 3 or 4 minutes out of your day and fill out this poll. And on this very show, we will share our findings with the rest of you and let you know how your fellow point of disordinance are listening and are feeling about all of these politics.
And I have one more little advertisement that I need to plug. Michigan for Money Out of Politics, the ballot petition is going to the Board of Canvassers for the signatures approval on the 24th of July. So we will put in the show notes as well how you can sign up. We want to fill that Board of Canvassers room up with supporters for Money Out of Politics to make sure that all of the corporate interests that we know will fucking well turn up, we want to make sure that we fill the room before they get there. So we'll include that link in the show notes as well.
Guys, come have a good time and make fun of a Heritage Foundation lobbyist while you're there.
Yeah.
That sounds like
We'll
a great,
show you who
great
they
time.
are.
They're easy to pick out, let me tell you.
Julie will point them out for you.
Right.
Well, with all that said, for everybody here at the Point of Disorder team, we will catch y'all next time.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of Point of Disorder. We'd like to extend a huge thank you to everyone who listened today. And if you like us, give us a like, a subscribe, or a review on any place you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Distill Social and at The Guerrilla Politic. This is the Point of Disorder podcast, signing off. Stay sharp, stay progressive, and above all, stay tuned.